Welcome back. Her name is Audia Jones, and she's running as a Democrat to be Harris County's next district attorney. Former prosecutor Jones says current DA Kim Ogg simply hasn't championed the reforms needed to reverse years of injustice inflicted on the poor and communities of color. Audia Jones, welcome to the hot seat.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Okay. You say incarceration should be a consequence of last resort. What do you mean by that?
What we've typically seen historically is mass incarceration has continued to make our communities less safe. For the last 30 years, data has actually showed us that crime is decreasing while our incarceration rates are increasing. So if we really want to look at making the public safe, we need to look at making incarceration a last resort for nonviolent offenders, meaning getting them the help and the treatment that they need that would target the root issue of whatever the basis of their underlying issue, whether it's drug addiction, mental health issues, or poverty.
Audia, current district attorney Kim Ogg says she's trying to implement bail reform without compromising public safety by unleashing dangerous criminals back onto the street. How would you do things differently?
Yeah, I mean, her statement just is simply not true. When we talked about misdemeanor cash bail reform, she initially supported it in her run in 2016. What we saw for majority of misdemeanor offenses and people that were sitting in jail on $2,500 bonds were in there for driving while licensed invalid, criminal trespass, possession of marijuana. So these are individuals who are in there for simply nonviolent offenses, and just because they cannot get out, they're almost forced to take a plea to get out and continue their regular life. So what I intend to do different is support cash bail reform moving forward, including for felony offenses that would be nonviolent offenses.
Okay. This week, a young man by the name of Gregory Smith, free on minimal bond on charges of assaulting a peace officer and driving under the influence of PCP, caused an accident that killed 3 people. Now, the DA's office opposed the bond, but were overruled by the judge in the case. Would you have made the same recommendation that he be a high bond be placed?
Well, we have to look at the circumstances and say if there was a high bond that was placed and he could still afford to get out, would this unfortunate situation still have occurred? So what we need to look at is the person a threat to public safety, and if there are flight risk, then we need to go ahead and either ask for a no bond or ask for a higher bond to be placed, but looking at the individual circumstances. In that particular case, one thing we have to look at is he was already charged with driving while intoxicated, so he really should not have been driving in the first place at all.
And so the judge should have ordered one of those devices, right?
One of those devices, and the law automatically actually revokes your driving privileges as soon as you are charged with a driving while intoxicated. So legally, he should not have been driving.
Well, this guy has a PCP problem.
Correct.
Do you think he would have, well, you know, Houston Police Officer Union President Joe Gamaldi says, and this is a quote from Twitter, "Wake up, America. Innocent people are dying needlessly under ill-conceived policies and laws, all in the name of reform." Gamaldi has backed his statement with a number of cases in which people have gotten out of jail and reoffended. What's your response to that?
My response to that is we have, a lot of elected officials and other individuals that will typically use fear-mongering. Even our current district attorney, when we look at the numbers simply just don't back that up. 77% of people that are sitting in jail right now in the Harris County Jail are in fact in there for nonviolent offenses that are tied to drug-related offenses. And even for the Gregory Smith case, that's something we need to look back at. Have we arrested him previously, brought him to jail, nothing's done? We cannot arrest or convict our way out of drug addiction. We cannot arrest or convict our way out of mental health issues. And this is exactly what we see from the lack of reform, is we see now they have escalated to more violent offenses where people tend to lose their life or some type of violent offense takes place. So it's time for us to do something different. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a change.
Audia, experience is an issue in this race. You are a former assistant district attorney.
Correct.
How would you describe your track record with criminal cases, and can you handle the third largest district attorney's office in the country?
Absolutely. When we hear the term experience, we have to think about what is that experience rooted in. Not only the current district attorney, but some of my other incumbents have, the other opponents have tried to attack me on that point. But what is their experience rooted in? Their experience is essentially rooted in the same criminal system that we are, in fact, trying to dismantle and get rid of and rebuild. killed. So I do not want that experience. But moving forward, it's time that we take a different perspective. As the third largest county in the United States, we deserve to be on the leading end of change. We haven't had that, and it's time for us to take the reins and move forward with true reforms that will change our community and make it safer.
Audia Jones, thanks for taking the hot seat.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Still